which is wrong. So if you still can get 2 method marks, don't worry, okay? Still got 2 method marks lah, even if you put bx plus c. Okay, you all can see the screen. If you get all the values correct, 1 mark for A, 1 mark for B or C. So finally, if you write the correct answer and all simplified like this, then you get full marks, 5 marks. I think there are some of you also forgot to write the 5 here. For some reason, you just write A over X. Yeah. So these were the common mistakes. The most common mistake was instead of, who is this?
Don't worry. Yeah, don't worry, Mr. Paul. You carry on. I will do
the most common mistake was the bx plus c. Okay. So next question. Okay, second question. You all have your question paper with you. So if you look at the question, second question, your shape must be correct. Correct shape, you get 1 mark. Then your asymptote, it cannot touch the y-axis. Yeah, if we touch the x-axis, we deduct the marks. But so far, I did not have this problem with any student. But 1 mark is given for the x-intercept. Yeah, so a few of you, you did not write the x-intercept. You can check your graph. If you write the x-intercept, you will get 1 mark. Even if your graph is wrong, if you write your x-intercept, you get 1 mark. Okay, then the second question, what you do here is you have to take ln on both sides. You'll come to, then the half. Can you see the half here? That is your power rule, right? Your power rule, you bring it down, you have half here. And here, of course, when you take ln here, your 3 over 2, x plus half will move down. Then your ln e is 1. So you don't need to write ln e. Then you come to this step. Then what you do, you have a half here, and you have a 2 here, right? So we multiply both sides by 2. Then you come to this step. And then if you check your question, ln x plus 2 is y. You going to read your question? Yeah, ln x plus 2 is y. So therefore, y equals to this. Or you can expand, that is your marks. Any questions for this? Okay, total is 3 marks there. Okay, what's the common mistake? I think this question was well done. Of course, your method can be different. I know some of you, what you did was, you got rid of the square root. How did you get rid of the square root? You went to square both sides, you square here, and then if you do it correctly, then you will still get the same answer. But some of you went to square this, you made some mistakes, okay? Just let you know. You can check your marking script, and then later you can let me know if there's any problem, okay? Okay, next, I give you time to look at the common mistakes you compare with your working. Okay, next one, question 3. Okay, question 3, actually, 3A and 3B was very well done, which means most of you got almost all full marks. Here or there, you lose 1 mark. Okay, your first mark is if your denominator is correct. Can you see this denominator? Which is a to the power of minus 4b squared y. This is cube root, right? Cube root means power 1/3. Then what do? You take minus 3/4 times 1/3, you get this. You take 6 times 1/3, you get 2. Do you follow? This one times this will give you 1/4. 6 times 1/3 will give you 2. So if your denominator is correct, you should get 1 mark. And then your numerator, then you compare with, you simplify, you know, using rules for indices, When you divide, you take this power minus this minus this, you should get this. Then you can compare, you should get 1 mark for both P and Q. So it's only a 2-mark question, okay? Next one, number 3B. Okay, this is the method. What do you do? Square root 12 plus square root 3. You rationalize is your first method mark. So this is your first mark. As long as you rationalize with a minus sign, then you get 1 mark. And if you do this method, you notice the multiplication. It's a bit difficult because you're dealing with bigger numbers. And then if you do it correctly, you'll end up with this. Then your answer will be this, because we want it in that form, right? So your answer must be given in the form a square root 6 minus 1/3 square root 15. This method is faster. Why? Some of you are smart. You went to simplify square root 8, which is just 2 square root 2. Which is 2 square root 3. And then and because your denominator, right, this is easier. Can you check? You can add your denominator to get 3 square root 3. So when you rationalize, you just have to multiply up and down by square root 3. And then this is much faster. I give you some time to just look through. Okay. Just look through and see where you went wrong. You can circle your mistakes. Next one, number 4. Okay, unfortunately, this question was very badly done. Yeah, well, there's a lot of common mistakes. You see, when you say f minus 2 equal to 0, right? Theorem, right? It means that x plus 2 is a factor. So this part, some of you are not aware, but most of you knew that x plus 2 is a factor. Now, the only problem is this, when you have x equals to half is a root. So this one gives you x equals to half if you equate to 0, right? Only when you equate to 0, your answer for x would be half. But when you factorize here, right, you cannot write x minus half. Usually you don't factorize x minus half. Unless, normally we don't. So it should be, this one should be 2x minus 1. I think almost 90% of your class wrote x minus half. So that is your main problem. You also read the question.
What do they mean by 2 of its roots are half and 3?
Oh, that means it's a solution. That means when you put this one equal to 0, right? If you put equal to 0, then you get x equals to 3, so root. If you put this one equal to 0, solutions. And these are roots only when you equate to 0. Does that answer your question? So a root is a solution. So this part actually is okay. Only this was the problem. Now, if you read your question, what does it say about the polynomial of x cubed? It says polynomial of x cubed is 2. Now, suppose you put x minus half here. I'm just saying suppose, which most of you did. So let's say this is x minus half. You take x times x times x is x cubed. Your coefficient of x cubed is 1, but the question says it is 2. So here it must be 2x minus 1. If you put x minus half, let me tell you what will happen. You put x minus half, I mark your paper. Then you all went to expand this. Okay, you work very hard. You don't get that answer, you'll get what? X cubed. You have to multiply by 2 to get this answer. You go and check your solution. You have to, suddenly you multiply by 2. Now, how can you just multiply this thing suddenly by 2? You cannot just multiply this expression by 2. So it's a mistake. So the mistake is because you put x minus half. If you put this, you will get your answer. So I hope you learn from your mistake. So remember, if they give you a fraction as a root, if x is half is a root, then just put 2x minus 1. Okay, this one confirms your answer is correct, right? If you put F4 and you substitute 4 and you get 42, it shows that this is correct. It's just a double check. Okay, the next part is very interesting. Some of you, what you did was, okay, you went and you put minus x into here. I know some of you did that. So you substituted x as minus x. So you get minus 2x cubed, and you get this one, because if you put minus x, right, you square it, it's still minus 3x squared. Here you put x as minus x, you get plus 11x, and 6, and then you put equal to 0. The question says solve. It doesn't say hence. So you don't have to use the first part. But your working would be quite long because you're solving again. But if you solve correctly and you get these answers, so your answers are actually what? If you look at the answers actually x equals to 2, then the other one is minus half and minus 3. Okay. Now you look back at the origin, go back to the top. They tell you the root is x equals to 3, right? X equals to 3. You just change the sign. So become minus 3. Here is x equals to minus 2, right? Then become plus 2. Here x equals to half. You change to minus half. So you can get 2 marks just like that. Okay, give you some time to look through. So this one, question part 3, you just have to, here x is 3, you just put negative 3. Here x, if you put equate to 0, is minus 2. You just put 2, you get all these 3 answers in one step. Okay, the marks are given for your answers. Anyway, this question was badly done, so I will move on. Okay, if you think that was badly done, this is worse. 5 part 1 was terrible. I tell you why. I don't blame you, because most of you, you don't know what is the value of NC1. I mark your scripts. Most of you don't know NC1 is N. NC2 is what? N.
I really understand question 4 part 2.
Part 2, which one?
Question 4 part 2.
Question 4 part 2. Okay. Okay, this one? Part 2 or 3?
Part 2.
Part 2, this is your fx, right? You want to show what is a factor? X minus 4. If x minus 4, you learned last year, you put equate to 0, x is 4. Where is it? X equals to 4. You just substitute into this polynomial, x is 4. Your answer is 42. This is your remainder by remainder theorem. Okay, Clarissa?
Don't we have to do long division?
You can do long division because the question doesn't say hence. So Clarissa, if the question don't use the word hence, usually we didn't, then you can do long division. And if you do long division and your answer is 42, it's still correct. Unless you don't get 42 lah. How? Okay, let's move on. Okay, this one is because I tell you the whole class was very bad. Okay, NC2 is this one, n minus 1 over 2 times 1. NC3 is n minus 1 and over 1 times 2 times 3. Okay, I know most of you forget. If I'm a student and if I didn't revise, I would have also forgotten. So if you look at the marks, right, the marks are given for, the first mark is given for this. So as long as you don't write this, you lose 1 mark. This is your second mark in the simplest simplified form. And this is your third mark. So I'm sorry, the marking scheme is 1 mark, 1 mark, 1 mark. So if you leave it down here, this is expansion, correct? You also, of course, you need to simplify in the end, okay? Yeah, so I think it was most of you wrote something like this and then you left it. Some simplified a bit, but never simplify completely to this step, so you won't get your marks. As long,
Mr. Paul.
huh?
So for the binomial expansion, right?
Who is this?
Part one.
Who is this?
Isham.
Okay.
So for 5 part I, right? The
Yes.
N2 bracket, then -1/2x.
Okay, this one, right? This one.
Yeah, how come it become n then bracket n-1?
That is why n choose 2 is this one. You have learned this last year, maybe you've forgotten. Yeah, that's why I'll tell you 90% of you don't know this. And NC3 is also this. Yeah, so if you don't know this, then you can't do these questions. Okay, Ishan? And then the next thing is I have to simplify correctly.
No,
So
then what is it? Where did the x go?
Which x?
For the
X.
N2.
Okay, this is x cubed, right? There's x cubed here, right? Then your cube become x9, right? So it's still there. Don't worry, it didn't disappear.
Oh.
Okay. All right, but as I said, the marks are only for simplified form. I'm sorry, we have to follow the marking scheme strictly. We cannot use discretion anywhere to give marks. Okay, because that part is wrong, question 2 also you'll be same problem. But some of you were good, you had this one, right? Multiply with this. But then let's say you didn't simplify, right? Here, you didn't simplify. Then you're looking for constant term. Some of you, 1 times 1, isn't that a constant term? And then you forgot this 1. I think it's only a few of you, not the majority. And then this is your, which one? What else does give you constant term? Look carefully. Listen, now this x6, right? Do you see x6? And then here's a x6 at the denominator, right? If you take this one and multiply this one, then your x6 and your x6 will what? Cancel off. That's why this is your constant term. Do you follow? This 3 here is this 3. This one is, if you simplify, then you get this already, then equate, then you must solve. I think there was only one student in your class. He wrote this as NC2 because he doesn't know what's NC2. I'm not sure. I think it is area. No, not Jonathan, right? Check your paper. I think you came to the end, you wrote NC2 equals to what, 90, 45, right? Then somehow you guess it is 10, right?
Cannot.
Yes. Cannot.
Not bad, what?
No, I know, not bad, Jonathan, but cannot. Because you look here, read. 1 mark for solving quadratic equation. Jonathan,
So messy.
sorry, Jonathan. I already checked. I'm just telling you, I don't teach you. I'm just telling you. You have, I know you do trial and error, use a calculator. You got your answer correct. But if you do this way, then you factor, there are 2 solutions. So, Jonathan, you get 2 marks. Okay, you know, there's only one student in a class who got full marks for this entire question. Only one, which is 7. Yeah, 7 marks. There's only one.
I guess Ivan. I don't know.
Ivan, no, not Ivan. I'm not sure. I don't know who. There's one girl. Yes, I think I'll put a good there. I think, is it Shuwei?
Yeah.
Yeah, Shuwei, I think was the only one. So I put good because the majority all. Yeah, only you. You're the only one who gets, I think, full marks for this question. Well done. Okay, next one, number 8. Okay, anything you just ask me, okay? This is your mid-year. Learn from your mistakes. Yes?
The 5 part 2, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, isn't it like the 1 plus 3x6? Then it will give you the...
I thought I just explained to you 1 times 1 is a constant term. If you forget that, then you won't get the answer. Maybe you're one of those who didn't write the 1. This one, who is this?
Yisheng.
Yisheng again. Okay, Yisheng, your next constant term is this x6 here, correct? You have to multiply with this one. Then only you get constant term, which is this one. So let's move forward. There are only, okay, number 6. I have a lesson later. Okay, number 6 anyway, I'll answer your questions. Okay, this one, base 6, base also. I think, wait, Nicholas, this one was originally not, there's one more step before that. Okay, class, can you all look at your question paper? This one was written as what? 1 over log 3, 6. It was not like that too simple, right? I think Mr. Nicholas has already given you the solution here. So this one is, I think some of you make common mistakes. I don't know what you did. Let me see what are the common mistakes. Even students from my group, those who might know, you made mistakes. Okay, if you look at the question, you have 1 over log 3, 6. And then you have bring up the 6 becomes 6 to power minus 1. I think there's one girl in my class who do that. I still remember. Oh, now that is wrong. Okay, so you mess up that question now. So this is the correct one. Log 3, 6. Change of base, 1 mark. Now this one no need to do anything. Then this minus here is what rule? Your quotient rule. And then here you get, then you compare, you get the equation, and the rest is okay, no problem. Once you come up to here, then obviously you will get the answer. Okay, why do you reject minus 1/3? If you don't reject, you lose your 1 mark here. Huh? Why? See, if you put x as minus 1/3, this is negative. Then here minus 1/3, then this is negative. And then you know, right, you cannot log a negative number. You press your calculator, log 10 minus 3. Error, right? So have to reject. If not, you get 3 marks. Okay, let's go on to 6B. Common mistake. Yeah, this one, you also have to look at your question because, you know, there was a 1/3 here, right? Okay, I don't have that. This is already the solution. Okay, you know what happened? Some of you thought that the y minus 2 is together. I'm sorry, they are not together. I think quite a lot of you.
They are so close, leh.
Yeah, I know they are close, but they are not together.
How was I supposed to know that? They look so close.
Who is this, Jonathan?
Yeah.
Okay, Jonathan, I'm sorry. They are too close, very close. Yeah, but not together. So, Jonathan.
More far apart, lah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, nothing. Anyway, you got to bring this one up. It's cube root, right? And, you know, 2 can be written like that, right? If you don't, you have other methods, it's fine. And then here, the 2, you got to bring it up. So 1 mark for power rule, right? You have power rule. Bring the 1/3 up, the 2 you bring up, power rule. Then what do you have? You have plus, this one you times, then this is minus. Of course, you bring the 2 up will become 4, right? You all are smart, right? You bring the 2 up is 4, but this is minus. So your 4 will be at the bottom. Okay, if you do your quotient rule, product rule correct, you get your next mark. Then you compare, you get this, then of course you should get the answer. Any questions? I don't think so, you mess up anywhere. Yeah, I don't know why a few of you, Jonathan, not only you, there are a few of them who put y minus 2 together, yes. Okay, next one, number 7. Okay, good news, 7 was well done. You have to substitute t as 0, okay? Yeah, you just have, in order to show p is this, you have to say substitute t as 0. Some of you put t as 1, I don't know why. Okay, number 2. Okay, some of you are not good at counting. If you read your question, it says, if the first part, right? If you read the question, the number, okay, the second part is this, 2015. You start, right? Then now it's 2020. How many years is that? If you count, is 5 years. I think some of you, you put 4. It's 5 years. If we count from 2015 to 2020 is 5 years. So your first mark is only given here after all your hard work. You come to this part. Then you get your first mark, nothing down here. Then, of course, you know, right, to solve this, you got to take ln on both sides, and then you happily get your K. And I don't know, 1 or 2 students, 3 SF is 0.0800. I don't know who's that. One only student, only one of you. You don't know how to give this to 3 SF. Other than that, it was okay. Okay, next question. Oh, calculate the year. Okay, the year in which there will be 210, 310. This is the number, right? Population. Then here is your K value that you found. Please, I don't know if it's Jordan or who, don't use 3SF in your working. Might be someone else. I'm sorry. You don't must use more SF. T here. Then you know what to do, right? Bring this here, you get 10. Then you bring the 70 over, you get 17. Okay, you reach this part, 1 mark. Then, of course, to solve, you got to ln both sides. Now, when you do working, right, it must be 24.4 something lah, okay? Okay, if you put 24.4 or 0.42, we give you your 1 mark. But if you put 25, we still give you the 1 mark. But if you put 25, then your answer will become 2040, which is wrong. If you put 24 here, you will also lose your mark. Because when your answer is not exact, you don't give your answer to 2 SF. It should be 3 SF. Okay, this one was very badly done. You cannot use numbers. You know, for example, when this is a 1 mark question, by the way. I think maybe Madam Haliza will go through and I'll go through in my group. You cannot substitute n is to 320 or 321 and then it shows no such thing or it doesn't exist. No, not accepted. Okay, I think some of you got it right. Next one, let's go a bit faster. Okay, question 8. All right, it says it lies entirely below, the graph is not like this, a solution for this lah. The graph itself will be like that. You know your x-axis here, I can't draw, sorry, x-axis. Then you have a sad face hanging below your x. Let's say this is your x-axis. You have a sad face hanging here, right? Okay, so your b squared minus 4ac. Okay, very sad to say. I think at least 10 of you lah. What did you write here for your C? You get everything right, then you write 3, you miss out the K. I know, I think at least 10, because I keep circling this. Now, once you miss out the K, then this part is wrong. And then this is your method mark, because if it's hanging below, then your discriminant is less than 0. So this is where you get your first mark, okay or not? But as long as we see this, even if this is wrong, and you put less than 0, you get your first mark. Then of course, you try to get rid of the minus sign by multiplying by -1, change the arrow. Then this one is where you draw this graph. I'm sure last year you learned how to draw this. This one is to get your answers. Up to here is only 2 marks, this part. Why only 2 marks? Because it's a sad face hanging below, right? Your coefficient of x squared must be what? Your coefficient of x squared is k plus 1. So it must be a negative a, right? This part, I think only one student, maybe Gwen or somebody get right, a few of you. The rest all forgot this part. So because k plus 1 is less than 0, k must be less than -1. If k is less than -1, then you have to reject the k is greater than 0. Not here, but final answer. You cannot write this one for your final. This is your answer. Okay? Any questions? As I said, the common mistake was this part, which is very careless, can't help you. Okay? Next one, 4B. Okay, 8B, right? 8B is a question where they say show or proof. Either they use the word proof or show. You cannot write that this discriminant is greater than 0. You cannot do that. When you write greater than 0, you're already saying that, yeah, the roots are real and distinct. This is a proving question. You have to show that the roots are real and distinct. So here, your 1 mark is for your discriminant. Unfortunately, if you put greater than 0, and then you get your discriminant, no marks here. So yeah, if you put greater than 0, you lose your mark for discriminant. Now, if you can complete the square after all the hard work here, if you manage to complete the square, you get 1 mark. And then for the next 1 mark, if you look carefully, this is a square which is always positive or greater or equal to 0. So if you add 35, confirm it will be greater than equal to 35, right? Yeah. So your roots will be, no, it cannot be equal to 0 because the lowest this one can, this is always positive. So if you add a 35, it will be greater than 0. I mean, greater than 0. So if your roots, if your discriminant is greater than 0, then you have this part. Okay? So you must complete the square. Okay, next one. Number 9. Okay, this was actually an easy question, but the problem is this. How is it marked? The shape must be correct. Some of you got all kind of funny shape. You got exponential, then you got here. Okay, if you asymptote, if you don't have your asymptote, this is your asymptote. What does asymptote mean? That means your graph will not touch this line, won't touch. So if you show your y-intercept -4, 1 mark. If you show your x-intercept, either you write around 5 or 3 SF is okay. So the marks are very clear for this. Then the second part is this is your answer, just a 1 mark, either it's right or wrong. That's it. Who is this? Okay, this one. Actually, this is a very, very easy question. I tell you, you just have to call this U. Think of U. This one U, then this is also U. Then it becomes a what? Set 2 question, right? Either U or Y. Then very easy to factorize. You solve, then you get 2 answers for Y, then you take ln. Okay, this is a straightforward question. But as I said, if you try, if you don't use substitution, I see some of you are working, it's very messy in the end, you give up. Any questions so far? Okay, next one. Okay, number 10. Okay, number 10 was actually well done. I don't think any of you should be having any questions. Please present your working and exam. Wait, please present up. Don't write M of AB. Exam write gradient of AB, gradient of AC. Your presentation is important so the marker knows what you're doing. So please write things. If you don't write gradient, at least write GRAD. At least I know what you're doing. Then the equation. Okay, the marks are given here. It's 4 marks. I think majority of you got your 4 marks now. After you get your equation, I think they give you x is 14, then you should be able to find C because x is given. Well, just don't give up, work hard. You still have your prelim coming. Second part. Of course, second part, if you can get your x coordinate correct, then you should get, if you get X, this one correct, you get 1 mark. If you look at your question, if you want to find, you already have the coordinates of C, right, from part 1. If you look at the diagram, you should be able to find the X coordinate of M, okay? Okay, then this one. Okay, this one, I think you need to find the coordinates of D. Then okay, lah. This one, you some of you forget to put the half here. Lah. Okay. Hopefully no problem with this question. You have to show this working. If you don't show, at least try to do this. Lah. Show some working. Don't go from here to here. If you go from here to here, we minus mark for your method. Okay, number 11. Number 11, firstly, you have to write the table for XY because you're plotting XY against Y. So you need to show me the value of XY, the table. You just draw on your question paper, one more column. You write, you have the value of XY, you get 1 mark. Then you plot. If you plot correctly, all your points, 1 mark, then you draw a straight line, 1 mark. And I think almost all of you, your y-intercept was 9, which is very good. Okay. I think one of you plotted the points and then didn't draw the line, probably time's up. Okay. All right, then this one, okay. You have to, now it says use your graph. So when the question says use your graph, you cannot substitute values. I know some of you, you look at the table, you have the values of X and Y. From the table, you substitute, then you went to find A and B. You will not get any marks for that. Only a few of you did that. So what you should do is you make Y your subject, which some of you are not able to do. So this is Y equals to M X plus C. So A over B is your y-intercept. 1 over B, minus 1 over B is your gradient. From your graph, I think almost all of you got vertical intercept 9. If this is 9, that means your A over B is 9. So you still need to get A first. So your gradient is minus 1 over B. If you calculate the gradient, I think almost all of you got this answer. So it was very well answered. Of course, there's a plus minus. So and I think.
Where did you get BY from?
Pardon?
Where did you get BY from for the equation BY equals?
Okay, first from here, right? Clarissa, what do? You have to make, okay, that's one. Okay, let's see how. Okay, Clarissa. Okay. Okay, the marking scheme doesn't show very clearly here how you get this one, right? Is that what you're asking, Clarissa? This one, right? Why? Okay. First of all, let's say your original equation, if you look at the question, is xy plus by equals to a. Okay. You move your minus xy over. You know your xy, you bring it to the right-hand side. So what you have is you will have by equals to minus xy plus a. After that, what do you do? Divide all by b. Yeah. So once you, oh, there is, yeah, there is here what b. You only move the xy over. Yeah, Clarissa can see here. Then you divide by b. Then divide by b. Okay, very clear. Next part. Part 3.
I still don't understand. Where did you get the equation from?
Which equation? This one?
11, yeah.
Okay, can you read the equation? Oh, all right, what is the equation that you are given, Clarissa? Y equals to what?
A over X plus
Okay, if
A.
you cross multiply, would you get something like this? Try, Clarissa, cross multiply. You should get that. So the first step, Clarissa, is to cross multiply. You try. You cross multiply, then you move over. You should get this, Clarissa. Yeah, if you don't cross multiply, then you can't make that. You won't get this. Then once you don't get that, this question is gone. Okay, so you need to do cross multiply first. Okay, this question actually depends on your first part. I mean, your answers will depend on this, but then here we carry what is ECF, error carried forward. So whatever you write here, and then based on your answer, we'll give you the marks. I don't think there should be any issue with this question now. So I hope all of you are clear here. You need to do cross multiply first, like Teresa asked. Yeah, you need to cross multiply, then you move over, then you can. This is what you do in Sec 2 when you want to make Y your subject. So this, I know there's a Y here, but this is your big Y and big X. So your horizontal axis is XY, right? Now this is your horizontal axis, XY. This is your vertical axis. It's already written for you on your graph paper. But I think you plotted correctly, right? I remember your page, you plotted correctly. Okay, the last one, this one is just answers right or wrong. Okay, if your center is correct, you get 1 mark. Your radius is correct with some working here, then you get 2 marks. But if you don't do working and you still give me the correct answer somehow, then you still I give you 2 marks. Okay. But most of you did your working, that's good. I think this first part is very easy. I don't think you should have any questions. The second part, again, you have to explain why. Now, when you say explain, you're actually showing or proving that it is a tangent. So, first what you do, you know there's a circle property, right? The radius in image you learn, the radius is perpendicular to the tangent, correct? So this is image. So how do you find the gradient of this line? I won't say tangent first, because it's just a line. So you make Y your subject, this is your gradient. So please, you all need to write this kind of presentation, gradient of line, -3/4. That's where you get your 1 mark. Then you find gradient of CP. What is CP? C is your center here, -3, -1. P is a point that's on the line. P is -1.51. So you use the distance formula, you should get your gradient for CP. Actually, this is your radius, the gradient of your radius. Then this is the gradient of the line, which is you have to show as a tangent. So how do you present? You must take gradient of line times. So presentation is important now, okay? The product is -1. You know, right? If the product of the two gradient is -1, or last year you learned it as M1, M2 is -1, yeah, then you have to explain. The line is a tangent. As a tangent is perpendicular. Anything like this, as long as I understand you, I'll give you the marks, okay? So this one, it just proves that the product of the gradient is -1. Any other method, if it's correct, I would have marked you correct. Okay. Last part, number 12, part 3. They say the point Q, which lies on the circle, is the same distance. Actually, this is an O-level question. They have asked this question before. Same distance from the y-axis. I suggest for this, right, you should just draw a rough sketch. Because what happens is, if the distance is the same, then x will be -1.5, not the y value. I know your p is -1.51, right? Yeah, your p is -1.51. So if they are the same distance from your y-axis, then the x-coordinate will be the same, not the y. A few of you made the y-coordinate the same. You substitute y as 1, then the whole thing will be wrong. So if you substitute this, then you get this, then you can find Q already. Because this point when y is 1, why do you reject this? Because y equals to 1 is the y-coordinate of P. So this is your answer. Okay, how many marks up to here? 2 marks, huh? 1 mark, 1 mark. So 1 mark is for substituting x is this, nothing else. And then to get Q correct, you get your second mark. Now, how do you find the equation of a tangent? Just imagine there's a circle and there's a tangent. Okay. You need to find the gradient of CQ, right? C is the center, is -3, -1. Now, center is C, yeah? Q is this point. Of course, if this is wrong, then it goes wrong. So if your Q is correct, then you find gradient of CQ, y1 minus y2 like this. Then your gradient for CQ is this. But your gradient of CQ, which is the radius, right, is perpendicular to the tangent. So if this is the gradient of CQ, the gradient of the tangent would be 3/4. I think you all know that. Then after that, you can do this way, y equals mx plus c or whatever way, then this is your answer. You're just finding equation of a tangent, which is perpendicular to CQ, the radius. But of course, Q wrong, then you won't get the answer. Okay, the last part. Finally, we come to the end. All right. Now, the two tangents intersect at R. I think a few of you in my group, you went all over to find the equation of what? You went all over again to find the equation of this tangent. This tangent was already given to you, right? If you go to part 2, yeah, explain why this line is a tangent. So you went to, yeah, y equals to, this one. This was given to you. This is your tangent at P. So you went to do all over again, but luckily you get the same answer, so it's okay. This is the equation of the tangent you just found at Q. Okay, I'll go back to show you. This is this one. Y equals to -3/4 x minus 5/8. That is the equation of the tangent at Q. Then you equate. Okay, finally we come to the end. Okay, we still are busy marking paper 2. Then tomorrow we'll give you, we'll let you know go through paper 2 tomorrow. So any questions? I have a lesson now, but I think of any questions.